Yo, Marco from Digital Dash. I'm just gonna be looking at the trades I took today, doing a little bit of a review, and talking about some of the mistakes that I made today, to hopefully so you guys can avoid making the same mistakes that I made, and I can use this video as a reference for myself moving forward, so that I don't continue to make the same mistakes. But just hopping right into it. Today it was a pretty. Let's see, this is the 1 minute, so let's go back to the 15 minute. Let me show you guys how the stage is set, pretty much. We woke up. We had a down move from yesterday, which is decent. We ended up closing the day, moving higher at the end of the day. We were watching this zone, as this was a zone that I liked. It broke down, you feel me? Created this imbalance, left the zone behind. I was watching that. By the time I woke up, though, we were already making our move back down. A big key that I was watching this morning was, let's see, these lows from yesterday. We started coming down into it, and we didn't break those lows. So I was like, all right, boom. Because we didn't break those lows, we could head higher. Same thing as yesterday. Yesterday we came into the highs. We didn't break those highs. We can head lower, and that was just the theme, right? That's just how it's been working on the trading. Defending highs, defending lows. So because I saw that we didn't break the lows, I was like, all right, boom. We could be heading higher. But as I go down to the 5 minute chart, there was a nice zone that was created on the 5 minute chart. Um, took out this structure. Nice push, nice imbalance was created. Nice down move that was created from this zone. So I was looking to play this zone. So even though we did defend those lows and failed to head lower, we started pushing back into a zone where it would be possible for us to take an entry from. So that's what I ended up doing today. Hopped in, saw the rejection, and I like the zone a lot. So it's like, you feel me? I'm gonna, like, even though there's some nice green candles pushing right now, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let just probability do its thing. I like this setup. I think this is a good zone. I think price can reverse here. Even though we did have a little bit of momentum, I was expecting to see that breaking above these highs here. I was expecting to see price come above here. I was expecting to see once price gets above VWAP, it pushes a little bit before it could stall out. So that's something I also like seeing. Usually when they're struggling to get price above VWAP, there'll be some struggling, and then once it finally breaks above, it'll run a little bit. So I liked all of that I saw coming into this level. Let it come in, let it touch. We started getting a rejection pretty much immediately. Got in below the candle that touched the zone and rejected. Again, like I said, it was a. I wanted to make sure I was putting my risk behind the zones for this week, so that was something I tried. Made sure I did with this trade, and it ended up working. It was a little bit of chop, but this is one of those trades where, within the next 20, 30 minutes, it ended up going crazy. There was a lot of buyers that needed to be taken out. Um, there was a lot of buyers that needed to be taken out, and I was just watching, like, let's see if we tap VWAP again. If those buyers don't come back in at VWAP, then it's not happening. Flushed through VWAP, dropped, caught this nice 20-point move. Originally, my trade was, and this is very important. Here's a gem. I was originally going to take a 1-to-1 trade, right? When I saw how many buyers there were on level 2 get wiped out by the sellers, then that told me that the people buying, or the people who wanted to buy, are being removed from the market. They're going to have to sell. So because I understood how many buy orders there were, how many buy participants there were in the market, I understood that could fuel a larger move, right? So it wasn't me being greedy. It wasn't me, you know, trying to turn every trade into a home run. It was me analyzing the situation and understanding, because of how many buyers are present, now that they're being cleared out, now they're being stepped on by the sellers, that can fuel a bigger move down. So because of that, I said, I want to see if the lows that we failed to take out get taken out. And conveniently, there was a nice, very nice demand zone below, 30-minute demand zone below, that was created when we had this huge rally to highs, right? So that was my target. That's what I used as my target, and that's why. Conveniently, like I said, there was a huge demand zone below the failed lows that we failed to take out. So this is, and this was also a weak low because we failed to push higher from that low. So I was looking for this low to get run into the demand that was below. That's why I used it as my target, right? So 20 points is a lot better than 7 points. I got out before the zone just in case those buyers that were up here felt that this was a good area to buy. So I made sure I was out before then. Of course, left some money on the table. Can't sell the top or sell the top perfectly and buy the bottom perfectly. It just is what it is. But before when I saw that we were heading up at market open, I was like, okay, maybe we can get a bounce. So this was the original area I was watching, was this demand today. I was originally watching this to see if we could get go long from demand. So this is when things started getting tricky. After my first W, I didn't walk away from the charts. I decided to say, all right, let's see. We took it down. Let's see if we could take it up now. There was a bunch of sellers in the market. There was a bunch of buyers that were trying to participate. Maybe they would be more comfortable buying down here at demand. So we got down here. I didn't really look to get involved until like around here. This is when I saw we had highs we can take out here, and we can break above that. If we're leaving the zone, then we can get involved. And I'm gonna explain these overlapping red boxes in a second. But this is the area where I started looking to get involved at. I can't delete this. Right, so pretty much I pretty much got involved here. There was a whole bunch of sellers here over these highs. Looking back, it wasn't the best place to get in. Of course, they could just grab the liquidity resting above these highs and turn around. But once I saw the sellers get wiped out, I thought we were gonna move higher, and I was at least looking for a move to VWAP. I think before, when this was developing, VWAP was a little bit higher where the target is at. But that's what I was looking for, right? So I drew in a lot of things to try to convince myself that this was working. I drew up this red supply zone to see, like, maybe people would try to sell this, and the people that were trying to sell this would get squeezed. So I drew that in. I also drew in this one over here. I think on the 1 minute this might be something, or the 15 minute, or somewhere. I'm not sure what kind of demand. Okay, yeah, 15 minute. I saw this little basic candle and this green candle, so I drew this up like it was a demand zone, and said, okay, maybe we could come back into it and bounce from it. What ended up happening was I got in. Hold on. Alright, so what happened was I got in over these highs, got in here, put the stop loss. I think my stop loss was based on, on the 15 minute. I got in above here. So above this candle on the 15 minute, I wanted to put my stop loss below the candle that I entered on. Again, that goes back to something I completely forgot. I said one of my goals for this week was putting my stop loss based on the zone, right? So this was another one of those psychology things. I just came off a winner. I don't want to have to risk too much on my next trade. Do not carry your previous trade into your next trade. The result of your previous trade should never influence the actions and the steps you take when you're executing the next trade. It's just a game of probability, right? So because I didn't want to risk so much and I wanted to protect my profits, which is okay in some cases, but this is one of the cases where it goes against you, because this is a different trade. This is a separate trade. It should be treated as a unique trade, right? So if this is my first trade of the day, and I said I'm going to properly set my risk based on the zone, and I'm going to go ahead and risk 13 points, then I would have ended up with the winning trade, right? This was my entry. If this was my stop loss, I would have never gotten stopped out. If this is my target, we eventually wicked and touched the target, right? So this would have been a winning trade if I treated it as its own unique trade. But instead, I set my stop loss, based on the candle, because I was like, okay, how can I minimize my risk? Knowing that this week I said I was going to only go back to setting it based on the zones, right? So that's just how I got tripped up. I ended up taking a losing trade because I didn't give myself the wiggle room of properly setting risk for a trade how I should have. I drew up like I said, I drew up the little 15-minute imbalance here, and then drew up another zone here and put it below this zone. But again, you saw we had nice move up. Sellers came in crazy. I put these two lines right here because there was a lot of sell orders resting at these two areas, 39.62 and 39.61. I wanted to see those get cleared. and pretty much it came back down. I drew this trend line in because I wanted to see maybe we break below the trend line, trick sellers, and then head higher. I was trying to find a lot of things in this trade to justify it, but the only thing I had to do was set my risk properly. If I would have set my stop loss based on the zone, I would have ended up with a winning trade, right? There's 12.5 points, 13-point risk. If I would have set it somewhere where I could clearly be invalidated, I would have had a winning trade. Instead, I had it up here below the zone. We came down. Price wicked me out perfectly, stopped me out perfectly. I actually ended up getting out somewhere up here. I got out before my stop actually got hit. I think I got out up here. The selling pressure was just too crazy. Buyers just weren't stepping up at all for them to have rallied out of the zone. I was expecting them to become present, and they just didn't come up at all. And then we started getting the move that I was looking for. We got the nice push. Luckily, my target was right here where VWAP was at. So it pushed in the VWAP and then started rejecting. But even if it, you guys had a higher target in sight, if the stop loss was down here, this trade would still be going right now, right? Eventually it hit. Whoops. Eventually it hit even in the aftermarket. If you had orders to sell, it would have gotten executed even right now. It's 12:43 a.m. It would have gotten executed. But this just you got to treat each trade like it's individual trade, right? If you come off a winner and you're like, okay, I can play with a little bit of house money, like I don't recommend it, because now, the same thing I just did, I was trying to protect my gains and ended up taking a loss when I could take another winner if I just would have set risk properly. Instead of trying to protect those little gains, I could have had double the gains. I could have had another 13-point winner if I would have just went ahead and just treated this trade like an individual trade and not saying, okay, I'm trying to protect profits. So it's psychological. It's all psychological, right? I had an objective for this week, set my risk based on the zones, and because I had a winner, because money was involved, emotions were involved. That's where the attachment to the profits come in. I had profits, so I wanted to protect the profits and keep the profits. So while trying to do that, I ended up losing more money, right? Because if I would have set proper risk, I would have never taken a loss on this trade. Other than that, again, this was an ideal setup. I like this demand zone. I love the demand zone. We took the play down. We sold out when we came into demand. I didn't try to get greedy and continue to hold and say, okay, what if it keeps dumping? Or this is a crazy momentum candle we came off of. Let's see if it keeps dumping. I was disciplined enough to take the profits that I earned, and then I tried to take it back up, which wasn't an over trading situation. It wasn't a bad idea. Again, it was an area that I really liked. It was a key level. I liked the demand zone. You feel me? It's in my playbook. It had all the criteria I like to see. But one small mistake turned a great play into a losing play, and it was a small loss, luckily. But this could have been a winner. And I don't like hindsight a lot. But when you're able to review these things and you can see these things, hopefully you can take these lessons and carry them over into real time. Remember the next time you take a trade, okay, my stop loss needs to be where I know the trade is invalid. Not somewhere where that because I'm just trying to protect my profits, or you need to do things properly when you're trading, or it's going to sting you every single time. So just wanted to make this video, one, to review my trades and know what the heck I had going on, but two, there's an important lesson and an important message in this for the viewers as well as myself when it comes to how easily emotions can sway your decision making in trading. So this is why it's very important to just stay consistent in your actions, stay consistent in your execution, because when things change even the slightest bit, it could cause disaster. Luckily in this case it was a small loss. I got out before my stop loss was even hit. I saw that I was wrong, too much wrong, and in that case I was able to protect myself a little bit. But in other circumstances, when emotions come in and things that aren't going your way and you don't know how to make the proper decision, it could lead to blowing an account, right? It could lead to losing hundreds or thousands of dollars. So it's just very important to just stay consistent. Understand you coming in with an objective and just try to execute and implement the changes and the lessons and whatever adjustments you need to make that you picked up on from the previous day, and bring that into the next trading day, and make sure it's something that you tighten up. If you're not fixing these problems, if you're not working on these problems, if you're not finding ways to implement the solutions, then the trading is never going to change. It's going to be a slow but sure process, so just make sure you keep doing that every single day. Make sure you're journaling. If you need to start a channel like this, start a channel like this, make videos like this, post them for your own, for your own records, for your to recall and go back and look at them yourself, if that's what you need to do. But something to keep you accountable, something that can show you and you can look back and see, this is my thought process, these are the mistakes I made, and these are actionable solutions that can be implemented into my trading to change them. But I'll catch you guys. I haven't been trading much lately. Opportunity is not presenting itself how I like it to, but when I do trade, I'm just trying to be more transparent. Even if I take a loss, I wanna see, break it down and understand what I can do differently, what I did, and how I can continue to stay consistent and pulling the trigger on the setups that I like to see. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.